Sunderland won 2-1 this weekend against Bradford City away from home. It's always nice to be away, and I have just returned from my away trip. I only got back literally into Sunderland about half an hour ago. So yeah, good weekend. Good to see the family down in Yorkshire, and always good to see a Sunderland win, although I had to sit in the away end by myself, which I probably won't do again. Don't like sitting in the away end by myself. I don't know if any of you guys ever done a home or away game by themselves.
Specifically the reason I've not got a season ticket.
Yeah, I used to do. I've done a couple of home games by myself, and I just sit and watch. I don't speak to anyone. I just
keep yourself to yourself.
Yeah.
Fair play, Simon.
Well, I've been in press boxes by myself. Yeah,
that's different
on occasion. It's a bit different. That's all. I have actually in the past when I shouldn't be digressing this much.
I was going to say,
but I lived in Nottingham for 3 years when I was at university, and I used to go to Forest matches with a mate, but I used to go to Notts County matches by myself to see some football.
Do you love football that much?
I like football.
Yeah, I'm the same, to be fair. I would go watch anything, apart from the Mags. Even then, I would probably, if somebody gave us a free ticket, maybe just if they see them get beat. I'll actually confess, I've been to one Mag game recently. It was against Crystal Palace a few years ago, and they were 3-1 up with in added time. They drew 3-3, and it was just brilliant.
And the subscriber count has just gone down massively.
Yeah, well, I've got a disclaimer that I was in the corporate section.
They're a marvellous football club who always look after me very well.
Yeah, that day I got free food. You know, I mean, I'm not going to turn down a free corporate do, am I? I never get it from Sunderland, so I may as well take a freebie when I can get it. You know, I'm going to get some abuse for that.
And so are Middlesbrough, by the way.
Yeah. Any others? Hartlepool, Darlington,
they're all
Blythe?
great. I love them all. They're like me children.
Right, okay, we're going to jump into the game anyway. So 2-1 win over Bradford City. I don't even ask how you are, actually. How are you doing, Simon?
I'm fine, thank you. I didn't get a chance to go to the game yesterday. I spent most of yesterday, this is true, dressed as Dumbledore the Wizard, because it was my daughter Annie's 11th birthday party. She's very much into Harry Potter, and her friends all came dressed up, and the requirement was for Dad to get dressed up as well. So I was genuinely dressed as a wizard.
Nice.
So you think Nick Barnes was dressed as a chicken, and it wasn't even his daughter's 11th birthday party, so what's his excuse like? I can even say that. He was genuinely walking around as a giant chicken.
Don't doubt the man of Tweed. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
BBC lot are weird on there. Johnny, how was your weekend? What did you do?
It's been all right, yeah. I was recovering from the night out yesterday. I woke up at about 3 o'clock and the match had just kicked off. So, yeah.
Did you watch it from Alaska or Trinidad or something?
No. So I managed to keep up on Twitter. You know, people keep on the clips on there, so that was quite helpful.
Fair play.
People do commentary on there. And I did, but I've just come back, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know. I've just got back from the US. I was working there over the summer. So this is my first podcast since getting back. I watched the Fleetwood game when I was over there because I use the SCFC app because it's great. And I watched the first half and we were losing 1-0, so that was great.
Perfect. Where you been?
I was working as a camp counsellor in New York State.
Fair play.
So it was good fun, but keeps me out. I lost complete contact with what was going on. So all these players who signed, I was like, who's this?
You're the wild card for this podcast.
Yeah.
You could have some steaming hot takes, but very likely to have some ice cold ones.
We should try and convince him that Ozturk's like Messi.
Yeah, we could do that.
From what I've heard, that's not the case.
Also, still more dedicated to the club over the summer than Papi Gilabodji or Didier and Dom.
Yes.
Correct. So fair play. You've done well there, Johnny. Chris, also finally you. How are you doing?
Kind
of Pepsi Max. Is that a hungover kind of Pepsi Max?
No, it's just a regular kind of Pepsi Max.
Regular kind of Pepsi Max.
Yeah, that was yesterday. It was the hungover ones.
I do like a Pepsi Max. It's better than Coke Zero. All right, Sunderland yesterday lined up, getting the game, the nitty gritty. McLaughlin, who we will talk about later, what a hero, what a lad in net. It was kind of a traditional back four. No lopsided 3-5-2, I don't think yesterday. Matthews at right back, Flanagan, Baldwin again, another hero. Rhys James left back, Chris Mcguire, another hero. On the left side, Catmull, Power in the middle, McGeady, Sinclair, Madger fills out the rest of the team. So first goal, Catmull took a shot from the away end. Hard to tell what had happened. Thought it went wide, to be honest, and it just seemed to hit off Madger and go in. Later, I saw it was a good chested finish. So
quite smart, like instinctive little.
Yeah,
he actually moved his shoulder into it on the way.
Lovely chest.
Yeah, Catmull meant to do that, obviously.
Yeah, it was a pass. Yeah. Definitely a pass.
Yes.
He's an artist. Lee Barry, he's an artist.
Absolutely. The thing is, I've never seen a goal. To be honest, I've never seen a player chest it in like that. I
remember when Balotelli did it when I dropped down onto him on the goal.
Yeah, that was
just
easy,
nodded
that
it in
one.
as cool as you like.
I could have done that.
But No, merges a bit differently.
I mean, Danny Graham has scored with his ass before, so.
And he celebrated it like he meant it.
Yeah.
So, I like how he said ass.
Yeah, because I've been in America too long.
Yeah, ass. He scored with his donkey. Interesting. Bradford equalised after some piss poor defending, to say the least, through O'Connor. Just dreadful. Utterly dreadful.
Which again, I imagine we're going to talk about that as
utterly
well. aren't we?
dreadful. Just so frustrating. But fortunately, Jack Baldwin immediately replied with a well-taken finish. A nice little finish to make it 2-1. And there was scenes, as always, in that Sunderland away end. 2 away ends yesterday, actually, at Bradford too. Max Power was sent off for just... What an idiot.
Being an idiot.
I know, I really want to love Max Power, and I know he wants to be loved, but just don't be such an idiot.
I am absolutely outraged.
It just reminds us of Cattermole years. Anyway, we're going to talk about Max Power later.
No, I haven't finished yet. Go on.
So,
It's just like Brian Oviedo. I'll see your stupid red card and raise you this.
I know. Do you know what's funny? You wouldn't have thought that you'd get a worse red card, but that one was. Conceded a penalty, but John McLaughlin just with hands of iron.
Just refused to concede it. He's like, nah, you're not
That's
scoring
brilliant.
it.
He was just like, nah, no chance. He just threw himself over there. Really good penalty. Like,
To all the stats guys out there, when was the last time a Sunderland keeper had to save 2 penalties in one season?
no idea.
I'd argue never.
Mark Boom saved 2 in a playoff penalty shootout. I remember
Doesn't
that.
count. Not the same
Doesn't
thing.
count. Okay. So apart from 2 minutes after that, Bradford struggled really to create anything. Sean Scannell was sent off late on for hitting out at Honeyman
I'd
and
say-
then going head to head with Cattermole.
Yeah.
Cattermole maybe could have got sent off.
I mean, his red card was worse than Powers in some ways because he wasn't even. Like, nothing even happened. He fouled Honeyman and then decided to get sent off.
That was real frustration.
Yeah.
That Timber one, that wasn't it?
I mean, Powers was like a stupid overreaction to something that he thought he got trodden on or something like that, so he kicked out. Whereas Scannell just went, yeah, I just don't want to play anymore.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I thought it.
Just nuts.
I was always busy in the shower, so I'm going to get there first. Like that's all that was.
I did think it was quite funny because when Cattermole fell over as well from push, because after Scannell,
He went flying.
he literally fell over, and I thought it was quite funny. Yeah.
I always find it funny the idea of Lee Cattermole as the wronged party as well.
I know it is. It's a nice little.
Somebody was picking on his boy George, so he went to Ghana.
Yeah,
So whatever.
you got to give George Honeyman a lot of credit for getting himself in a position to get their player sent off. So that's where he got his 6 this week. That's where he got from. He was on a 5, he earned the 6. So we saw the game out 1-2-1. So first things first, Michael Bowers has thrown out a strong but accurate claim. He says that McLaughlin is God. Does anybody want to disagree? I'll give you 5 seconds. Anybody want to object?
Well, I've got no.
Simon's objecting.
I've got no evidence to disprove the
fair
theory.
play.
Certainly, it's just good for Sunderland and for Sunderland fans to have somebody between the sticks who actually knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because after the dreadful threesome of the championship season, it's just nice that this guy knows what he's doing. He's a solid goalkeeper. There is the argument of, had he been the goalkeeper in the championship, Sunderland would still be in the championship. Yes, that's fine, but that's just not the way it works out. Yeah, he's good. I like him.
Good. Johnny?
Yeah, I think when we signed him, was he not the most highly rated keeper in Scotland?
Scottish team of the year. He
He was League One team of the year before, so
he's just a baller.
been there, done
You got,
it.
that alone suggests, he's obviously worth the price that we paid for him as well. I mean, it's obviously
Well, actually, he was a free.
free as well.
So, yeah, he's
He's
worth
definitely-
every penny.
Definitely worth it. Yeah.
Smart business.
Definitely. But a shrewd bit of business there, I think.
See, you're showing your rust there. That's what it is. You've not had a pre-season, has he? And he's throwing out, he's took a guess. He's thrown McLaughlin, definitely paid for him. He's too good that we got him for free.
I mean, are they comparing? Are they saying he's the best keeper ahead of even Craig Gordon for Celtic as well? Is that what it was?
I don't know if he's ahead of Craig Gordon.
I think
No,
he's second
he's
off
in the-
the
he's in the
list.
mix, though.
But
Okay.
he was very highly rated. He had a very good year last season in Scotland. Yeah.
So great player.
Decent on FIFA as well. Yeah, throwing that out.
71 overall, isn't he?
Yeah, so we've touched on McLaughlin, but I want to touch really on that save. I mean, obviously it's a penalty save, and some say it's a lottery, but the way he fills that net and just makes himself so big, Chris, I don't know. Is it just my eyes of rose tinted glasses looking at him? But I just think he's just a beautiful man.
I think it,
Beautiful keeper.
I think it was one of those penalties where if the penalty taker had actually put it into the side of the net, then you can't save him because he hit it with enough
I
power.
would have saved that.
But
I definitely still would have saved it.
But no, it was a great save. I mean, it was in the one part of the goal the keeper could get to when he got there, which is all you can ask for a penalty. Like, he made himself big.
I think you need
Gets the right way.
to visualise yourself, in that away end. Yeah, 2-1 up. I think it was 20 minutes left. 70 minutes-ish on the clock. Max Power gets sent off, and you don't know why. I thought their player was getting sent off, to be honest. And, I'm actually saying red. I'm cheering the red card. And a lot of the Sunderland fans were. And then, Max Power gets sent off. There's a lot of and then he gives a penalty. You're like, oh, God, Christ. It's 2-1 up, and then we've knocked it up. And you got to think at that point, did I ever see us coming out of that one 2-1 winners? No. Never in a million years. So, John McLaughlin, yesterday for me, it was the hero of the day.
If you haven't seen the highlights, what I felt almost sorry for John McLaughlin, because after the save, there's the tackle. So that immense tackle to Flanagan, isn't it? Who puts in that immense tackle to stop the rebound. And they all rush to him. And McLaughlin's just saved a penalty, and no one's got to
Magic goes up with him. Magic goes up, gives him like a chest pump. He's like, "How you doing, pal?" "Yes, mate."
It's fair play because the tackle was
it was immense.
Immense. Just beautiful. A tackle that represents Sunderland, isn't it? Just a gritty, hard, firm tackle saves the day.
I think that's credit to Flanagan. I think Jack Rock said in his interview after the match that he's really happy for the lads getting rewards, because you think there's a lot of good things that they've done this season. They're getting a lot of plaudits for certain areas of the game, and it's the first time this season where they've really got tangible rewards for that. So Baldwin put in a great performance, got in the good areas in the box, and finally got a goal. And then you look at McLaughlin making the save, he got the plaudits from the crowd, and then Flanagan as well. He's one who he's been a left back all last season. He's come into the Sunderland squad, played right back in centre half, where he's not really played, and he's come in. He's been immense. I think a lot of our defensive frailties have been fixed up by Baldwin and Flanagan, creating a decent understanding really quite quickly, because they've only started twice. So I think that's going forwards. I think it'd be nice to see them to get a bit better at the back, and things like set pieces and that might not be an issue for us going forward if those two really become
you've
first choice
up
pair.
Set pieces there, so I suppose I may as well jump to the pitiful excuse of a goal conceded. And to be honest, it wasn't the only one. There was the one in the first half as well, where their guy bicycle kicked it over, and
I should have scored, really.
I just sometimes think it's not that difficult. You've played 12 games now. It can't be that difficult to know who you're marking in the box. And it just seems that they still don't get it.
It's an odd situation. It keeps coming up when we speak to Jack Ross at press conferences before matches and after matches as well. They're obviously aware of it. They're very turned on, this coaching team. They're obviously aware of it, and they do a lot of defensive work. What he tries to explain, he tries to give it some context, Jack Ross, is that he's not, for a myriad of reasons, been able to field a settled back five. Obviously, it's McLaughlin, but then Matthews gets injured, Louvens gets injured, Oviedo gets injured, then gets suspended, Denver Hume gets injured. They've not had the time to sort of know each other and just have that instinctive, that's the bit that you do, this is the bit that I do, that's the bit of space that I have to occupy, and that sort of thing. I know in a way it's kind of an excuse, and still they are conceding much too much from set pieces, but there is just that bit of context that Jack Ross always wants to give it. He's not been able to sort of have a first choice back four, back five, as it were. And obviously he has changed the shape from time to time and played as a three, but he's just, injuries have kind of stopped the development and the understanding in defence.
I think it makes it tricky now as well, because you've got a system where he clearly liked his sort of lopsided three at the back and doing that, and having Louvens with Flanagan on one side and Baldwin on the other. I think that was his intentions when he signed players in the summer. I think that's what his vision was. And obviously Louvens has gone down, and he's sort of tellingly bit the bullet on Ozturk and not even inserted him. So for me, it's like you're looking at it now, does he just go, right, okay, we're going to be a back four, we're going to play it this way, we're just going to get good at this system and give them time to develop and create that understanding and become a stronger defensive unit with that cohesiveness, that understanding, that instinctive positioning, and they know where each other are at all times, set pieces, that type of thing.
Would maybe doing when a fully fit squad, having a back three of centre backs of Louvens, Baldwin and Flanagan.
We nearly had that.
That's the thing. We had it for 5 minutes against Coventry.
It wasn't even 5, it was 3. What a 3 minutes it was, though. It looked so confident.
we look solid as hell. Yeah.
I would say it was the best 3 minutes of the season, to be honest.
That's the question you got to ask, though, is when Louvens is fit, do you insert him back in and go back to that system that he clearly likes, or do you go, do you know what, is Flanagan, Baldwin, you've earned the chance to hold this down?
I think too, you've got to think about like Oviedo fucked it. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
it's really stupid.
Yeah. So, and Hume's injured, unfortunately, when he was breaking in, and Reece James comes in yesterday and was absolutely rock solid. Wouldn't say a bad word about him.
He's been solid since he came.
Yeah, he's always
really.
looked
Not
good.
really done anything, but
you want to, and he's a left back, isn't he? He's never going to be able to play full left wing back. So I wonder if, because of his performances, if they continue the way they are, if he will go back to the 3 at the back. It'd be interesting to see.
I think it's one of those things where if we go on to win a few games and look good, you might you might not have to. It's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, why would Jack Ross start
tinker it.
moving players around when he doesn't have to? Because I think so far every team he's selected has pretty much selected itself. And he's just got the best out of whatever situation he's been handed due to injuries and suspension. After Blackpool, it might be the first time in a while we've actually got a little bit of choice in who we play, and it'd be interesting to see what he does.
I think this week will have given him quite a lot of food for thought. He's a young, flexible manager. He's not set in his ways, that sort of thing. So he won't be afraid to change the system and change personnel depending on the opposition or depending on what he wants to do. But I think he will have got a lot of food for thought, because obviously I was dressed as a wizard yesterday, not at Bradford, but I was at the Peterborough game in the week, and some of the attacking play is the best I've seen this season, and that will have given him, with the shape that they played and that sort of thing, that gives him now food for thought. And in a sense, I mean, and we might come on to it later, it could be argued it might be slightly too attacking in some respects and in certain games, but I think he will have had a lot of food for thought from the 2 games that he's had this week.
Okay, I'm going to... you're talking about the attack in there, so I want to stay on that point, but I need to find the question, because there was a question about this.
Well, in the meantime, that's a good point, that like we are going to concede goals because we are playing basically... I mean, he gives Cattermole the license to go forward, and he likes seeing Cattermole get into the box. So
it's brilliant, isn't it? Leave Barry Cattermole calm. Who saw
that late arrival on the box like Lampard used to do? But he would do that, where he gives him that license, and he clearly enjoys doing it. But that basically leaves you with your back 4 as the last 4 men, and then obviously most times in the game one of those fullbacks has gone as well. So it's interesting to see. We are going to concede a lot of goals, come under pressure on the counter against teams who can be clinical enough. But
Katz is on the pace for like 10 goals this season.
Oh, definitely.
Just saying. So Andy Lynn asks, and this is a big one. This is a big one. Do we play better without Honeyman? Is it as simple as that? Maybe.
I don't think it is as simple as that. It seems to be a hot potato in the fan community, doesn't it? Again, food for thought for Jack Ross, probably for George Honeyman this week as well, because some of the attacking play, some of the fluidity was great, and he wasn't on the pitch at the time. And is there a better midfield balance to be found? I'm sure Jack Ross will be looking at it and thinking, well, that's interesting what I've discovered from that midfield playing this week and him being sat on the bench. But I don't think it's his fault. I don't think it's his problem. And sometimes he might be asked to do things that he's maybe not ideally sort of suited for, but that kind of thing. It's been interesting to see, though, how it's worked, and some of it's been really good to watch this week.
Do you know, I think the Honeyman question, undoubtedly we're playing better without Honeyman, but I think the reason why we looked better on Tuesday without Honeyman in the side was because Power was in there. And like that was, for me, that was the change. Yeah. You look at like the Gillingham game where we won 4-1, fair, it wasn't a great performance, but attacking wise, it was as good as the Peterborough game in terms of getting forward, that sort of interchange. And it was because Power was playing. And I think it's more so having Power in the team is just so important to the way we're playing. That's why it's such a crying shame that we're missing him for 4/5 games. He's missing Tuesday as well.
I like him. I like him a lot, but I've only seen him a couple of times because he gets suspended and that because of what's happened. I like the way he does. I like just the way he holds the ball and the way he moves about the place. He takes responsibility for what he's doing while he's on the pitch, except for the moments when he's stupid and gets sent off. I just like he plays lots of just little round the corner passes, which I like. He's always trying to get things moving forward. They're better with him in the midfield, but of course he's not going to be for the next 5 games because he's an idiot.
Yeah,
he moves when he passes the ball as well. It's like Dylan Mcguire, he's coming to a lot of stick when he's been playing his little run that he had. And like, a couple of things that he could do is just, he needs to look before he receives the ball. He needs to have a better picture of what he's going to do with it, because I feel like he gets the ball and then he starts thinking about what he's going to do. So when Power receives the ball, he's either picking it up in front of his 2 centre-halves and he already knows, or he's already got the time to think about it. Or when he's coming forward, he already knows, I'm going to ping it into Madger, or I'm going to ping it out wide to Gooch or Honeyman or whoever's standing out there at the time. He always seems to have an idea of what's going to happen, and you can sort of see it come true as well. Like a couple of times he just pings the ball in Madger. I mean, he had a chance against Bradford, which he maybe should have scored.
Power.
Where he played it in, made the run, and then he got the ball back and nearly scored. And Mcguire doesn't do that.
2 minutes later.
So like Mcguire sits really deep and then doesn't do anything else. Like when he gets the ball, he turns and panics and loses it. Whereas Power actually has that like idea of the game and a better idea of the game plan. So
it's why it's a shame, isn't it? It's why it's a shame. And look, I called him an idiot. He's not an idiot. We've all done stupid things and that sort of thing. But unfortunately, he's done it twice now and that kind of thing. And people are now going to target him and test him out and have a go at his temperament, because he's starting to get himself a bit of a reputation, and he's just got to be very careful.
Well, that's the thing. You're talking about Honeyman as well. Obviously, social media, they all have it, and he'll notice the amount of criticism that anything goes wrong in the game, it's his fault. No matter what he's actually, even if he's got nothing to do with it, it's his fault. And like, maybe he's coming under a lot of pressure because he knows that Sunderland fans seem to like to comment on his performance more than most other players. I've never seen for a while many people that divided over one player ever. Like, he has a bad game, it's all Honeyman's fault.
Well, the thing is with Honeyman, and I know what you're saying about there hasn't been this much of a polarising player for such a long time, but I think Cattermole was in that position very recently where people were criticising, hammering him, and like, I think again with QPR, I think it was when who was it? Like Jason Steele got sent off for handballing it in like our box or whatever. But
well, not in the box.
Yeah, it was like
he handled it in the box.
He was in a different.
That would be better for him if he handled it in the box. That would be brilliant.
A start.
I think that was probably the problem for him last year. He didn't know that he could.
Rarely handled the ball in the box.
Yeah, very rare. Very rare.
So yeah, but Cattermole got all that criticism, and he took it, and then he got his head down and he worked hard and he started putting in better performances. Now the fans love him again. So I think with Honeyman, the fans who are criticising him aren't being unreasonable. They're just looking for a certain level of quality that he's not showing. And if he does manage to turn it around and start showing that he's a better player and contribute and maybe score a couple of goals or make a couple of like key passes and make a change to some games, then the fans will turn around and they'll support him. I get the frustration with Honeyman. I get the people who are frustrated with with Honeyman, but there's no smoke without fire, so to speak. And I think Honeyman does need to improve, simply put, because he's one of those players who we will need him to be in the team, featuring heavily, taking minutes, and at the moment he's not doing enough for us.
So now I'm wondering, since Power's out, is this a chance to give Luke O'Nien more of an opportunity?
Well, Luke O'Nien has been ill this week, so it's, I don't know how long he's going to be. I mean, he's had a cold, I think. He put on a thingy that he sent, it wasn't working.
It would be good for him to be able to play on Tuesday night in the Checker trade, because he needs to get on the pitch. Luke O'Nien.
Let's get some minutes. Just want to touch still back on Max Power, because I think the thing that made it more stupid for me is he was given the captaincy. And one of the things with Honeyman is everyone's like, they shouldn't have given the captaincy. He's made a rod for his own back, all that sort of stuff. Power had the opportunity
to take it off him.
To take the captaincy. I've no doubt if we'd won the game yesterday and Power had played and he maybe scored that chance and didn't get sent off, he could have been the captain of the club. And now will he get that opportunity again? Would you give the captaincy to him? You ask your captain. For me, a captain needs to have his head, needs to, be the one who's calm, able to speak to the referee in a good manner and, argue your case, but not do it over the top. And, whatever's happened, whatever's been said to him, there's just no excuse if you're the captain of Sunderland Football Club that you should kick out. It's just idiotic.
I found it interesting that he was given the captaincy on Tuesday and then yesterday. He's obviously highly thought of as a person and as a player, but that is a tremendous black mark on your copybook, unfortunately, especially wearing a captain's armband to do what he did yesterday.
He's not back till mid-November.
I thought what was telling though was Jack Ross, when he was asked about it, he didn't seem to care. He wasn't fussed. He was he'll worry about the fact he's got to pick a team without Power in for 5 games later. But his initial response was, well, yeah.
Yeah, but he said that he wasn't going to dig a player out in public.
That's true. So he might dig him out in private, but the thing is, Jack Ross is the guy who sees him 7 days a week or however many days a week on the training pitch. He knows what he's like. He knows that he's had a moment there, but it might be that Jack Ross asks his players to go out with that sort of extra competitive edge and that extra bite, and he might think, Ross might think it's his own fault for giving these players the license to do that and not being disciplined enough. There's a lot going on, a lot of pieces to just blame one guy for one mistake like that.
Well, at least for one. That's a positive. So, speaking of captaincies, Michael Scott here asked, Lee Cattermole's resurgence as a player is down to man management for Jack Ross, or is it the lack of responsibility of being captain, which is allowing him to play his own game and not sort of worry about, is
that not also Jack Ross then?
Well, yeah, I suppose. Well done, Chris.
Yeah.
Good inference. Very good.
I think the person who takes the most credit for Lee Cattermole's resurgence is Lee Cattermole. Because he could very, very easily have sucked over the summer, and he hasn't. And people at the moment, it's odd to sort of keep calling him the new manager, Jack Ross, because he's been there a while now and that sort of thing. But the manager and the current management team have not got a bad word to say about Lee Cattermole around the place. The way he looks after himself, the way he trains, the way he's enjoying it and he's serious about it.
Yeah, no, I think he's yesterday just seeing him, turn the away end at the end and, give it the massive, the fists up. And it's lovely to see because he's a player that I loved. Like, I did love him. And then the last couple of years, I got sick of him by the Luton game where he made a stupid mistake for the goal. I got sick of him at that point. Now, at that point, I was done. And I was a week early. In my hatred of him.
Well, the thing about Cattermole is I feel like, a lot of players, get credit for being a hard worker and, passionate and that kind of thing. I feel like in League One, being passionate and hard working can be a lot more, you can have a better time, like more successful. Like you don't need as much quality, I don't think, as you would in the Championship or the Premier League. I think working hard is enough to have a good season.
Yeah.
And he's doing that right now. And maybe it's his level. I don't know. Maybe low Championship, high League One is his level now.
I think. Sorry, I was just going to say. I think in the same way that I get the feeling that the great majority of Sunderland fans are quite enjoying the experience of League One, winning games, that sort of thing. I think there might be a little bit of that with Cattermole as well. All of a sudden he's playing in a team that's winning games because it's been an awful slog for the last 5-6 seasons for him. That sort of thing. Even back in the Premier League, where come sort of late March, early April, and he'd go into full beast mode, and as Sunderland once again crawled over the line to stay up, and that kind of thing. But it's been a right slog, and now it's a different level, but it's a different type of football in a team looking to win games rather than just survive.
Yeah, no, I think for Cattermole as well, it says a big thing when you're winning games of football, isn't it? That's what makes players better. It's literally just winning a match every week, getting that feeling that you're not going to get beaten. Now it's been 12 games, lost one game. Long time since Sunderland had that sort of form. There's a question here about Max Power, which I should have probably put in before, but I forgot about it. From John Woolno. Yeah, you see that there? Yeah. I don't know. John, yeah. Do we have the option to cancel Max Power's transfer if we wanted to, or is the deal agreed? Now, firstly, I want to nip that on the bud straight away. While I am annoyed, frustrated at Max Power's...
Furious.
Yeah.
Outraged.
Even furious.
I'm furious,
Yeah, about his stupid red card. And no doubting that he is an absolute baller at this level. And he's never been sent off before until he signed for Sunderland, so I'm just going to say that these 2 red cards are completely out of character and unlucky, and that he will be a brilliant player for Sunderland for the next few years. So even if you could cancel it, there is no way that I would cancel that deal. I don't know if you feel the same.
No, absolutely. That's like I don't suppose he's actually... I don't know if he's saying that because he thinks we should cancel the transfer, but that would be the biggest knee-jerk reaction of all knee-jerk reactions.
Just as a
reference. No, my understanding would be that that's pretty much done.
Yeah,
the deal. And no, I agree with everything you've said there. Good player, good fit for Sunderland. Seems to relish playing for Sunderland. No, absolutely.
Yeah, keep him on. I wouldn't say that we should cancel his deal at all. I think that's far too harsh. I mean, instinct reaction again, like, oh, I'm sick of this. He's suspended for 9 games now, whatever. Get him off. Get rid of him. We don't need that kind of discipline. But over the season, look back on the season and be like, actually, it was pretty good for us, I think.
And the final sort of things, and I'm going to include the previous red cards we've had this season in this, but Joe Burton asks, do you think that the fact that the players keep retaliating to opponents' shithouses is a problem going forward?
Possibly.
I mean, that's the 3rd red we've had this season?
It's going to happen all the time. I mean, it's been threatening to happen a lot this season as well. I know, first couple of days, Lyndon Gooch in the first few games was on the line the whole way through, getting kicked, and he figured it out. By the time he got elbowed in the face, he pretty much realised how to play. But it's like every single one of them needs to realise they are the targets. They're going to get kicked and bullied, and you just need to keep your head. It's simple as that. Like Jack Ross might be telling them, stick up for yourself. Don't let them walk all over you, because at the same time that is the right thing to do. But it's a very fine balance. At the moment, we're not quite getting it right. We're too ill disciplined.
Simon?
I couldn't agree more with what you've just said there. I think there's a slightly big picture element to this as well. I do subscribe to the notion that Sunderland are going to get better as the season goes on. This is still a young team learning to play with each other. And I think a symptom of that might be that they're a little bit on edge because they're a little frustrated that they're not quite there yet. And Jack Ross would admit that as well. They haven't quite clicked the way that he wants to. I think that if and when they do click, I think that they'll go on runs. I think the rest of the division has got a lot to worry about when that happens. But just for the moment, I think they probably know that they're capable of playing a little bit better than they are. And look at the league table and look at the record. It's fine. It's been a great start, really. But I think they're capable of more. And I wonder if sometimes the frustration is that it's just not quite yet clicking and translating.
I think the important thing as well is the worst performance of the season was probably Burton. Still had chances to win. Still had chances to get goals to win. And that's the thing. Like, we're in every game, and it's been a long time, even last year in the Championship, that we were in every game possible to get a draw or a win. So I think we've got to...
And the fact that we're playing pretty poorly for the most part and not losing or even winning games, that's a good sign. And as I say, you get to the halfway point in the season and come the new year, maybe similar to what happened with Roy Keane, where they just went on the rest of the season and just lost once.
Honestly, I'd love to see what happens when we've got we just need a clean month where we have our squad fit and available, because it's not happened. I mean, I don't think it's happened for us for about 6 years, but
we had
at
a
this
fully
point in
fit
time,
game for Coventry, and then we picked up 4 injuries.
I know that was the first time all season we had pretty much everyone available, and then it all went massively sideways. But it's I mean, at the start of the season, I think Stuart Donald came out and said, we might start really slowly. We might not be anywhere near where we want to be by the end of the season, but January will be a great time for us to address what's missing, because we don't know what to expect, and then be able to go from there. The fact that we're, I think, 3rd at the moment, that's phenomenal. That's such a good job by Jack Ross.
I get the feeling that they're delighted with the league position and the way that they've started, but it's not that they didn't expect to start well, but I think they wondered whether a few more eggs might have to be broken while the omelette was getting made.
Yeah, they were prepared to not start well. I think he said that we had more players we wanted to get over the line that we just didn't. So
And they wanted to get rid of a few.
Yes.
And it's interesting, actually. We've got a few questions on the transfer window, but with the performances of, Cattermole, really, is there likely to be any interest in him in January? I mean, at the minute, would you say he's probably in the top 5 centre mids in the league?
Probably.
Is he on too much?
I think his historical contract situation means that I don't know if that many people are going to come knocking on the door in January.
I mean, even if they did and we accepted an offer, Lee could still say no.
He could.
Yeah, he could still stay and keep his money. And to be fair, I mean, if he's playing well for Sunderland and the fans like him again, then he'll have every reason to stay for his own personal reasons.
Unless maybe a team in the Championship who's doing quite well want him. And if he has the chance to... I mean, Sheffield United are top at the moment. If they were top at Christmas and you had a chance maybe to go up with them, would he want to take that or go into the Championship with Sunderland, where he could go into the Premier League instead?
Borough's been linked with him in the past. Although then again, will they do business with us again? Because Paddy McNair's having a stinger down there. So
no, she's not getting his game. I don't think Middlesbrough would look at Lee Cattermole. I think the more likely departure in January is Oviedo.
Yeah, but he's been the worst out of the... I mean, not worst, harsh word, but he's red card just...
What about Josh Madger?
I think and hope from Sunderland's point of view that January will be too soon in terms of predators from higher leagues.
Just my worry is he's still on his original contract.
Well, that's true, but I mean they are looking into it. Obviously, that another young players as well. They are looking into that, but the money is tight these days, and so obviously getting the 2 shithouse lads out the door helps with the week to week and wage bills and stuff like that. And then now they can start to look at the future and things like that. But that question, if he keeps scoring goals, he'll be on lists of teams in the Championship and the Premier League. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if he's supposed to be like a sort of down to earth lad, and I wonder if he might look at the Joe Lasoro thing and say, you know what, I'm better off stopping here for now. At least till the summer, see how it goes, see how the contract thing works itself out, and that kind of thing. He's playing football, he's enjoying it, he's doing well. He's young. He's got a lot of years ahead of him. Just stick with it. Stick with it.
I think seeing Oviedo go out the door as well might be fantastic news as well, because it means that salary is just going to get spread across those lads that we want to keep.
Especially Humes played so well.
Well, that's the thing. It seems an obvious one. If there is a way out for Oviedo, it would be good for the club financially. He's a good player. He's like Cattermole. He's come back and he's not complained and he's tried. Yes, he was stupid with his sending off, but he's got a lot of quality, especially at this level. But I've been really impressed with Denver Hume, and as you said, Reece James hasn't really let anyone down when he's come in. So he's a player that you can let go.
Yeah, definitely. And I think back to the Madger thing, we talk about him moving. Sometimes in football, this happens all the time. When you've got it good, don't leave. You know, you look at managers in the past. You know, I look at Owen Coyle when he was at Burnley. Don't leave. He went to Bolton. Where's he now? You know, and there's so many managers. You look at Eddie Howe left Bournemouth, went to Burnley, had to come back.
Darren Bent.
Oh,
Don't leave.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you've got a good thing, write that good thing out until it's not a good thing in football, because there's so often a player leaves or managers leave. It's normally managers, to be honest, and it doesn't work. And Josh Madger now, he's played 12 games for Sunderland, and now they know how to play with him. You know, we know that he's not going to win a physical air battle, but he will win the head below. He'll win them battles all game. He's got a little bit of a partnership with Jerome Sinclair going, and he's scoring goals. He's finding, you know, they're finding him, and he's putting it in the net. Don't leave, because when he goes to a new team, he's 19, that team will be inclined to be like, well, okay, well, he'll be a bench player off the bench. Very much what he was at Sunderland last season. For me, it's just a no-brainer to play it out at Sunderland for the next year, especially since he's only 19. You know, I'm not talking about a 25-year-old. We're talking about a kid who is a kid. It's exactly what he is. Stick it out. He's playing regular football. He's going to be playing at a top League One team this year. And if they go up, he's going to be the main man in a championship side, a big championship club. Just doesn't make any sense to me. I wouldn't leave. If I was his agent, I would be very much telling them to stick it out for the next at least 18 months.
I reckon some sort of anthem, classical music in the background during that speech would be excellent. Like,
Land of Hope and Glory.
Sean.
So I want to finally, Aaron Barnes asks about Chris Mcguire, and yesterday he just epitomised everything that's good about Sunderland Football Club yesterday. Just, you know, you seen the picture of him laughing in their guy's face. Everyone's seen that?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know what? And that sums it up, isn't it? Like, he gets a tackle, their guy stands up and is like, ref, I can't believe you've given that tackle. And he's just literally laughing in his face. And do you know what? I love that. I love it.
Happened to him against Rochdale when I don't know if anyone remembers, he had a set piece as a free kick and he just absolutely wasted it. He just sent it into
Standard.
the top row of the south stand. And then Peterborough's captain was like wheeling away, like laughing at him. And then from that point on, Mcguire had like the best game he's had all season. So it's like, works for some
I think
people.
we need to send somebody in before the game going, Mcguire, you are shit, mate. You are the worst player. Worst player I've ever seen.
He's grand, isn't he? If you could like have an identikit of a cult hero, it's Chris Mcguire, isn't
absolutely.
it? He's got a bit of a temper on him. He's got some mean old quality on him as well, and that sort of thing. He laughs in people's faces. He nearly gets sent off some of the time. He's a man of the people.
He is.
Yeah, he's one of those players that I imagine like opposition fans would absolutely despise and be like, yeah,
But he's ours.
He's ours, and I'll love him. Yeah, absolutely.
If I was a Bradford fan yesterday, like I would have been, honestly, I would have been baying for his blood. Like, I mean, I'm not wanting to invade on the pitch and punch somebody, but I swear I would have done that if I had the chance.
Every team needs a shithouse.
Yeah, and he's ours. What a man.
We haven't had one for years.
Yeah, just
Like a
just love everything
proper
about him.
shithouse. We
I
haven't
mean,
had one.
and I put a tweet out yesterday saying, yeah, we have Chris Mcguire and you don't. Like, people would love to have someone like him in their team.
I know the Oxford fans still like love him. Like he was an icon when he was there. And like, but the other side of it is, I suppose we're yet to see it. But he can cost you games when he gets his head on a bit.
Yesterday, about 75 or 85 minutes yesterday, honestly, he was able to keep the ball in that half of the pitch for about 10 minutes. Like, that's just how long the wasted, because every time he was winning the foul, he was always able to kick the ball out of play, miles out of play. Every time he throw in, he'd make sure it went further. And like, he's just like giving it this, like moving his hands to the Bradford fans, and he's just irritating them. And you're just there as a fan, like, yeah, you keep doing that,
and
mate.
his quality as well. Like his first touch is just superb. I know there's the one against Peterborough, which everyone knows about. That was someone else. Like, but his first touch is excellent. Whenever the ball comes into him, he's like got like half a foot on the centre half. You think he's never going to win this, but he just digs his body into him and then takes it down and controls it. It's like, and he always tries to bring the ball down as well. So you'll find like quite often this season we've had like little head tennis go on from time to time, and Mcguire's always the one who tries to jump in and actually bring the ball down, and he does it with quite a high degree of success. So that's I
want to see him in the Premier
way we
League.
need to play. Oh, I'd love to see him in the Premier League.
It's great. He's quality. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it. That little video that Sunderland tweeted out of the like low angle of his bit of skill that set up Sinclair's goal. That was so good. I mean, all right, it was actually pretty duff defending.
Who cares?
But it was brilliant control. It was really good.
I feel like in a derby he would be right up for it. Like, that's in James's Park. Wait for next season in the Championship when Newcastle play Sunderland. I'm going to get loads of stick if Newcastle fans are listening.
Why
But
would
yes,
Newcastle,
I was gonna
if
say,
Newcastle fans are listening to this, then
well, they go to the games, don't they? So
if you get any stick on Twitter from people about what you've said on that just there, then we can just single them out and just go, look.
yeah, Chris. No, but honestly, he would be right up for that. Like,
he would either get sent off or score the winner. Let's be honest. Definitely.
I don't
Very
like,
little in
He
between.
nearly got sent off against Oxford, which was honestly, I would after that game, I wouldn't have thought that a few games later I would be talking about how much I love him because I was irritated with him that day. He should have got sent off. But
so how many
dropped
goals
after that,
he scored that rocket against Burton, and has he scored any other goals?
Yeah, he has. He's got one
Scored
other. He
3.
scored at Gillingham, didn't
he
he?
scored at
Oh, yeah.
He scored against Scunthorpe.
He scored against Scunthorpe. Oh, of course, that was a good goal, that, wasn't it? Yeah. I was on
that's why I'm
holiday in
the
America.
host.
that nice
Yeah.
little flick.
That's why I got this host badge here. All them nuggets of information.
I think the only thing I would say, he's made himself at home. He's made himself popular with Sunderland supporters. He should probably score more because he's very talented at this level.
Yeah, I
probably
think it's an interesting point. Actually, it's you look for contributions of parts of the pitch. Like Madge is obviously flying with 9, but yeah, perhaps Mcguire. I think maybe not Goose because he's been injured, but like people like Mcguire. Honeyman should have been scoring more when he was in the team as well. I think.
Yeah.
His position is to make.
But
runs
when
off the
Max
straight
Power
line.
had 2 goals early on, then obviously he's not playing. He'll score goals from midfield. Should have scored one yesterday.
Lee Catmull's chipping in, so that's all that matters.
Baz is.
I think he's scored as many goals this season as he has done for Sunderland, like up until this point.
I don't know.
I think he scored 6 in total, 3 of them this season.
Maybe. I'm not. A as the host, I'm going to back out of that one. 'Cause,
I
I've just
think-
made
I
a
think
song
you're
and
right,
dance
actually,
about how good I am.
Making a
now.
claim for that badge.
Yeah, I was going to say you can have that one. Michael Smith asks, do you think we are starting to adapt to League One football, e.g. the physical side and defending balls in the box? Well, Michael, defending balls in the box we are clearly not doing. We've already been whinging about that one today. So no in that sense. But the physical side, slowly but surely.
Slowly, but again, go back to the point, the sendings off are maybe a symptom of them not quite being right and them still being a bit at edge and not utterly comfortable with the situation. Getting there, though. And the thing is, 12 games, 6 wins, 5 draws, 1 defeat. It ain't bad. It doesn't suggest a team that is floundering, does it?
No. So yeah, Michael, I would say that we are, but I still think we've got a ways to go.
I'd say we're not. I think we're more. The players we signed are used to League One anyway. Like I think the players we've got on our team are fine with physicality in League One. I think it's just a chemistry thing. They just don't. We're not on a level where everyone just instinctively knows where to move and where everyone's going to be yet. And I think when we get there, we'll be great.
Looking for that telepathy.
Telepathy.
I don't know. I said I'll stick with it. Telepathy. It's a good word. We've got a thing here from somebody called SCF, and he put the Blackpool game is off with an angry emotion. Was going to that one. Why is it off? Big team.
George Honeyman's fault.
We should still be on. Now the thing is with that is like my dad was wanting to go to that one. He's a bit annoyed. I wouldn't say he was angry. He was,
Absolutely outraged.
but at the end of the day, we don't have a keeper. So
Yep, McLaughlin and Tom Flanagan has got a call up as well, hasn't he?
yeah, and
So-
Oviedo was called up, but he's
Ballymumba's
suspended, so he
probably
doesn't count
called up as
anymore,
well.
does he?
So yeah, it may as well call. I mean, John McLaughlin is so important, and it's just.
I
don't
don't
know.
think it's bad. I know that probably they'll drop off the pace a little bit because other teams will play and Sunderland won't. But it's been busy. There's a checker trade this week. I think a weekend off might not be the worst thing in the world for the squad, to be perfectly honest.
Jack Ross is slightly concerned, I think. I think he wanted a game on Saturday. I think he's quite happy with the way the momentum's going. He seemed a little bit like it is what it is when it comes to that, but he's clearly not over the moon that it's been postponed. But then again, what can you do if your keeper's not available? I'm sure he wouldn't want to play without McLaughlin either. So
Fair. So with the game being called off, this is from Andrew Tong. Should we take Tuesday's game a little bit more seriously? Less changes and less kids involved to get the win.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially what he does up front, because he's really only got Maguire at the
With
minute.
Sinclair.
Yeah, I mean, he might. I take it reasonably seriously. I think someone would like to get out of the group and progress in the checker trade, because look, there's a chance to go to Wembley, isn't there?
Money as well.
And there's money to be made. Yeah, I'd take it reasonably seriously, but you know,
it's Morecambe, isn't it, on Tuesday?
No,
it's Carlisle. But
Take that.
Decent side, that.
Host.
journalist. Yeah.
That's a Carlisle fan, so
yeah.
I should have known that.
Obviously, if anyone's got a niggle, a knock, you're not going to take any risks for this match. I
definitely
wouldn't have thought. But Yeah, I'd go reasonably strong because of the free weekend that's coming up.
Do you think he's taking Maguire off after the red cards? Now, obviously, that might be because tactical for the red cards. But do you think he's taking them off because he knows that Maguire is so important that he knows with 25 minutes left?
Yeah, it's a little bit like if you're in a position where you're going to be sticking all your remaining 10 men behind the ball and defending, what's the point in risking Maguire? Because he's not going to make enough of a contribution defensively, or at least compared to Sinclair.
Well,
it's not like you
I
get
was
any
thinking
more.
yesterday, from corners, Maguire goes back, Sinclair stays up front. So that's what I was surprised that they took Maguire off because Sinclair doesn't defend the corners.
Does he ever do anything?
He does. You know what? He's effective.
Sinclair's hold-up plays better. I think it's the weakness, and I know you shouldn't criticise a 19-year-old who scored 9 goals too much, but his link-up play to hold-up play is not his strong suit at the moment, and I think the substitutions in those situations are because you need a tight unit when you're playing with especially if you have to play with 10 men, and if your front man in that system isn't great at holding the ball up, then the whole structure of it can get a bit broken down. So I think that's why he's sacrificed in those situations.
Yeah, he's working on that game though. You can see,
definitely
he must be doing it all the time.
He's
training.
19 as well.
Yeah.
You know, he's not expected to be Robert Lewandowski at 19.
And he's quite he looks like physically strong as well. He looks muscular. He's definitely got the potential to go on and become a really big unit just up front. But he'll never be a hold-up player, target man. It's just not his game. He's a finisher. He finds space. He moves in the right areas.
He reminds me a lot of Defoe. Defoe was obviously a very good finisher, but it was like his build-up play was he never gave the ball away really that much. He was very much not fancy flicks, but good flicks, nice passing, and Maguire is very similar for me. I think he's
Maguire does give the ball away a little too often when he's passing.
Yeah, but
at the moment.
That's the thing, he's 19.
I mean, I'd say, I would say you've got to take just about every game you play seriously. You've got to try and find a way to win, no matter what game it is. But I don't know. I mean, I'd try and play a strongish team. Maybe not play Maguire because we do need to focus on promotion and the League One table. And if he gets injured, then and our luck with injuries at the moment was this week anyway. If Maguire got injured, that would be horrendous for us. As good as the rest of the team could be, we need him up front.
Yeah, I'd say give him the 2 weeks.
I think also we don't really have a choice. It's like we've only got so many players to bring in, so I'd probably start Kimpioka up front though.
Would you?
Because I don't.
Poor against Stoke.
I would just rest Maguire and Sinclair, and then if we need to go on and win a game, then you can bring one of them on. But just Kimpioka, Mcguire, maybe give if 09's available, you got to throw him in there because you got to get the minutes.
The Honeyman surely plays as well.
Honeyman,
yeah, he should play on Tuesday. Yeah.
Ozturk might get a chance centre half.
Probably, I would probably give him a shot in there. Maguire, how many goals? He's 9 and 12. That pace, he's going to end up with about 40, 30, 35 to 40. Probably not going to get that. But what is a realistic game? I think Jack Ross wanted 20, 25. I think was realistic.
I don't think 25 is unrealistic at the minute.
Do you think 30?
I think he's not super Kevin Phillips, is he? Not quite yet.
But you never know.
He's a very, very good finisher. He's obviously on track to get 20 comfortably, and hey, that's great, isn't it? 19 years old, playing his first full season of league football. I think he's doing great. I think he could easily do 25. I think
he should very easily do 25 because we're a team that are only going to create more and more chances as the season goes on, as we get better and better.
I agree with that.
I think I was talking about this in the group chat with the lads earlier, but his shots on target is like 71% of all of his shots at the target. That's a ridiculous figure for just shots on target. So he's got 9 out of that. He clearly hasn't had many chances, I don't think. I think of the 9 goals, he's only really had maybe
he doesn't
18.
miss many, does he?
Nah.
I can't recall him missing too many.
Some of it's really good.
If he keeps converting at that rate and he keeps getting more chances, then he'll be nailed on for 2025.
I think he should set himself 30. To be honest.
You brought up the Peterborough goal. Peterborough goal was such an accomplished finish.
It was
really was.
It's the way
he took space from himself.
It's the way he takes like 2 or 3 touches, and you think, how on earth have you found the time to take that many touches before you've shot? That's like...
Yeah, but he ripped the defender in half. The defender didn't know where he was coming or going.
It'd be interesting to see next season if we when we get promoted, if he can do it again. If we can do it again against better centre halves, because I think a little bit that might be the opposition he's going up against, give him that extra time. But
19-year-old kid scoring 9 goals in the football league.
Unbelievable, yeah.
You can't knock it. So game on Tuesday, I suppose expecting a win. You know, it's going to do is, I mean, there's no game for 2 weeks. I can't really do a League One score prediction, but I'll throw around the Carlisle score prediction. Simon, you take it.
I mean, obviously depending on what team, but I mean, Sunderland will look to win. And if they do, then, you know, they're not quite there, but they'd have 1 foot in the knockout stages, wouldn't they? So I think it's worth going quite strong on it, and they'll win 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah, I was thinking 2-0 as well, yeah.
This has happened before. I'm sure we've had a score prediction where everyone picked 2-0.
Oh, I'm going to go 4-0.
4-0?
Yes, I think Honeyman's going to score. Don't know how many he's going to
You're
score.
just throwing that out there so people can give you abuse.
My dad's a massive Carlisle fan, so we're going to beat him 4-0, and I'm going to
Maybe they'll
go
play him
around.
up front, and he'll reinvent himself from a 6 out of 10 midfielder to a 9 out of 10 striker.
Absolutely.
We beat Carlisle last season, and we were awful last season.
I reckon Honeyman might end up playing on the right wing as well at some point as like a Gooch replacement, because he did play there quite a bit when he was a kid for the academy.
I think we'll win. How many thought about 3-1? I'll throw it out there 3-1. Do you cover Carlisle, Simon?
Yeah, because I'm a sports correspondent for Border as well. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
They're up and down. They're actually
Border?
better away from home than they are at home. So I suppose that's one.
Do you know how many fans they're
something to
bringing?
beware of. I don't know how many fans does any away team bring for the Checker Trade Trophy.
There's only so many
Really don't
people
know.
in
It's a local
Carlisle.
game. Don't often play at the stadium. Like they're playing the cup a few years ago, and I recall them having a big away end that day.
They certainly did. Yeah.
Graham Kavanagh was manager then as well. Former
it?
Sunderland midfielder Graham Kavanagh
Wow.
was manager, I think.
Was he?
I believe so, yeah.
Didn't go so well for him there, though.
Yeah, no.
Well, it happens. It happens.
Who is their current manager? Because I know Keith Curl left.
John
last
Sheridan.
season. John Sheridan? No way.
He's one of them. He's a journeyman League Two manager, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a grumpy, old-fashioned type of manager, business-like.
There's you. He's like, he's going to have you in the office, isn't he? He's like, Simon, I heard you said I was grumpy.
And I'm really annoyed about it.
I am really
Which would,
angry.
in fact, prove that he was grumpy.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. I'm feeling very grumpy about your assertion there. All right, okay. Has anybody else got any points to add before we wrap it up? I apologise for going under an hour, which is unusual. I think it's the first one of the season went under an hour, but
I'll get one. You know, everyone says after you can't judge anything till 10 games.
yeah.
In a 46-game season, that is incorrect. This is the point we should be making
We should
judgments.
judge.
12 games,
All right.
because we are now a quarter of the way through the season.
Can we all make like one steaming hot take then? Like one thing, a projection for the rest of the season. It could be anything from like, I don't know, an injury to a goal scorer at a...
Better start than I was expecting that Sunderland would make. I think they'll get better. I think they'll get promoted.
Winners?
No reason why not.
Okay. It's Johnny, hot take.
All hail King Chris Mcguire. And we will win the league with Chris holding that trophy proudly at the end of the season. I think.
Chris?
We're going to win the Checker Trade Trophy.
Oh, he's went off the
We're
board
going to
there.
Wembley. And I also think we're going to go playoffs and get Wembley in the playoffs as well. There's going to be a lot of Wembley involved at the end of the season.
I'm going to say that George Honeyman will not be the Sunderland player to lift the League One trophy at the end of the season.
Ooh. See, I was thinking about going the total opposite and saying Honeyman's going to turn it completely around and become our favourite player.
I really like Honeyman, and I'm just throwing that out there because I get a lot of stick for my love of him. So that's my hot take.
All right, then, well, who will?
Who will? Oh, it's
There's an obvious
it's not gonna
choice.
be- It's not going to be Jack Baldwin.
Jack Baldwin? Nah, Russell
Sunderland captain.
Russell not put Baldwin in charge. I think
Why?
we can't all.
Nah, not be Catmull. They like a Catmull on my back. Jack Baldwin, he's a future Sunderland captain.
I
Some
agree
point,
with that, to be fair, yeah.
Yeah, Johnny Goldsmith's with us. See, hot take is already getting legs. I saw a campaign, hashtag Baldwin for captain. Why not?
I'm sure Jack Ross will see that hashtag and be like, oh, well, I better do it now.
Yeah,
Seems like
This
that
is
type
the
of guy.
ROKER Report, come on.
yeah,
you know.
I'll go down before the start of the game next to the day. Like, Jack, just 1 minute, one word. It's like,
Jack
Baldwin.
Ross will be like, I'll never get on the podcast if I don't make Jack Baldwin captain now.
Yeah, that's it. And then, do you know what it is? I've heard that he really wants to get on as well.
I don't believe that.
I heard he's
I think
really
you might be
keen.
making that up.
He's Roy Keane to get on the podcast. All right, okay. Is there anything else? Anything else? All done? Oh, actually, we're going to be on ITV tomorrow. Well, I'm going to be on ITV. And you'll be on ITV as well.
Yeah.
Do you want to
Yeah.
discuss the schedule? Do you want me to discuss what we're doing?
Well, why don't you? Because you were there.
Yeah, I was going to say. So you were the organizer of it, but you're not really involved.
Well, it's because it was my daughter's birthday party yesterday, so I was unavailable to go to Bradford.
See, I would've picked
So what
me
did you
if I
do,
was
Connor?
you.
Yeah.
So I met a cameraman and a producer, a nice producer, John Blair.
Johnny Blair.
Yeah, nice guy from Bradford. He's a bantam. He says he was kind of a bantam. Had a little interview, a long interview actually, because I talk a load of shite. Go on, it's quite a flowery
Never.
interview. Yeah, Then we went down to the away end, to which a lot of people were like, "Who's that dickhead getting videoed?" Oh, it's that dickhead off ROKER Report. And that was
That's
fun.
what he looks like.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, he's got less hair than I thought.
They probably couldn't see you because of the glare off the top of your eye. Like,
Oh, gosh. Funny enough, it was actually absolutely boiling yesterday because the sun was right on the wind. So yeah, we did a nice little interview outside. There's a nice little me talking into the face of the camera, like straight deadpan down there. Did a few videos on the ground. I was that idiot who was vlogging in the stadium. So that was fun. And then outside the ground, we did another interview. And yeah, that was that. Missed the start of the Newcastle game, which my uncle, who's a Newcastle fan, wasn't happy about. But shit happens. Missed the 2 goals and they got beat 3-2. So. I know,
you saw the only point that
I was
mattered
laughing in
then.
his face. I was doing a Chris Mcguire and was literally laughing in his face as the third goal went
That was
in.
fantastic. That like I was dropping my brother off at a gig and it was 2-0 to Newcastle and I left the house and I was like, never mind, we'll just pretend that never happened then. And then dropped them off. My other mate got in the car and I was like, what's the Newcastle score? I was like, oh, they've lost 3-2. Hey! So what happened? Sanchez in 90th minute. I was like, oh, even better. A player who has been just awful all season as well.
Disappointing for them, but they were part of someone else's story.
Definitely, yeah, that was a different script, wasn't
the
it?
story was always about Mourinho and Man United. It was
Do you think
always going to be that
that
way.
journalist, like, he must have been sitting there and then at 2-0, you know, I reported the story that he's getting sacked and he had 2-0, he's like, yes, I have hit the jackpot here. I took a stab and the stab has worked. And then as soon as they turn around, there's no way Man United could sack Mourinho now. Not a chance. Because, like, they won 3-2, they were 2-0 down, 1-3-2. The players are obviously behind them.
I
It's
wouldn't
all
have...
Ashley's fault, by the way. Even though he doesn't do the tactics, but
I
it's
was
all his
like,
fault.
it was
And
that-
George Honeyman's as
Yes,
well.
Yeah, George Honeyman. It's like Benitez executed a perfect first half and then Ashley messed up the second half, didn't he?
Yeah, that was obviously it. It was obviously it. So, you know what, it's not often we talk about Newcastle, so we best talk at least one more thing about Sunderland before signing off. So, somebody pick a topic.
So what was your favourite moment of the game? Was it
Oh,
the
the-
winning goal? Was it the penalty save? Was it the tackle after the penalty save? Or was it Chris Maguire laughing in someone's
Do you know,
face?
I'm glad you said that, Simon, because actually Gav texted us saying, make sure you do the moment of the game, which is a tweet, and I didn't.
Uh-huh.
So now you've said it, I can now, we've done it. So that's happy days. My moment would have been McLaughlin's save. And that is what the Twitter community have said, 58%. What would you say?
I was listening to it on BBC Radio Newcastle, and my favourite moment was when Scannell pushed Honeyman and Gary Bennett started kicking off. It was fantastic. It's like, it's got to be a red. It's got to be.
No.
He's got to send him. He's got to send him off. Nick Barnes is like desperately trying to get a word in. It's like fantastic.
For me, Jack Baldwin's goal. I'm a big fan of Jack Baldwin, and it's good to see him get on the score sheet.
Hashtag.
Baldwin for captain.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've got to go with the penalty save. I would broaden it out, allow me 5 seconds because of the tackle after it
Yeah.
as well.
Fair play.
That was brilliant.
Usually a 10-second period of the match. Yeah. It was good. Enjoyable. This week, there will be no extra podcast because we have no game. And on Sunday, we may have a podcast next Sunday. I don't know what the logistics are happening.
Oh, it's going to be good.
Yeah, we are doing one. I think we are doing one next Sunday. So that'll be fun. And then after that, who we got next game is at Shrewsbury. That'll be fun. I'll be down there in Shrewsbury.
Oh, that's a proper. You're in League One now. Sunderland fixture that night.
Can't
Shrewsbury.
wait, me. Down there with the lads fans. Can't wait.
Case Ross or whatever will be. We're going
Yeah.
to Shrewsbury. Case Ross, right?
It's miserable. And I just like, what was it called? Gay
Meadow it was called.
Meadow. Now it's New Gay Meadow. Oh, they just went back to Gay Meadow. Or was it
I'm not
sponsored?
entirely sure.
Yeah, I used to always, obviously as an immature child, that was always really funny. The fact it was called Gay Meadow. Still, I mean, we're all still smiling about it now.
I'm just like giggling like.
Yeah. Okay, right, that's a good way to start anyway. End. Start. End. Yeah. No, fuck the end.
Notoriously good at finishing podcasts, Scott.
I was going to say.
Not quite nailed the dismount there, have you?
Yeah. And then he said notoriously, and then I was like, oh, Conor McGregor.
Don't go there.
Yeah. Okay, this is the wrap up. So thanks for listening.